My husband, Lucas, didn't love me and rarely came home. I'd been his substitute for a year. Once I'd saved enough. I slapped divorce papers on the table. My best friend Lily took me to a private island to celebrate my newfound freedom. Meanwhile, Lucas thought I was dead and had Interpol hunting me worldwide. 1 month after our separation, I spotted him at a bar. Lucas's tailored suit accentuated his aristocratic frame. The man who despised physical contact sat shoulder to shoulder with Sophia. Tipsy and unsteady, Sophia leaned perilously close to his chest. He listened to her slurred words with detached politeness, his expression frostier than a Manhattan winter. Rumors about the Sullivans' old family friends returning had circulated for weeks. Clearly, their reunion happened faster than my morning coffee cooled. As his wife in name only, I barely saw him anymore. My chest tightened like overstretched piano wires. My classmates' laughter over finishing our first-year grad thesis papers faded into white noise. Someone nudged me, forcing me to look away. My roommate teased, "See someone you like?" I shook my head, but the group declared I'd zoned out during drinking games. Their punishment: approach the most striking guy at the bar. "Be nice," my roommate drawled, pointing at Lucas. "Just get Mr. Tall, dark, and expensive suit's number." My smile froze. Interrupting Lucas's evening would earn me homelessness before last call. Under their expectant stares, I downed 3 tequila shots instead. "Since when did Ivy turn chicken?" my roommate crowed. The table erupted. Our campus belles blushing. "Ethan, step up your game." Ethan avoided my gaze, cheeks flushing. They didn't know about my marriage license collecting dust. The alcohol burned my throat. When I glanced up, Lucas's obsidian eyes pinned me across the room. My pulse raced like I'd mainlined espresso. Why was I hiding? He's the one canoodling in public. After escaping the game, Ethan offered to walk me home. My roommate mimed exaggerated encouragement. Then Lucas materialized beside us, his presence sucking the oxygen from the room. "Ivy," he murmured, intimate as a lover. "Ready to go home?" The table fell silent. Ethan cleared his throat. "Ivy, who's this?" 40 curious eyes swung between us. Lucas's hand settled possessively on my waist. Every cell in my body short-circuited. Since when did he acknowledge me outside our sterile penthouse? He is. I stammered, unwilling to expose the sham marriage. Lucas had never made it public, probably wanting to keep our relationship secret. The click of pale heels approached as a slender figure steadied Lucas. "Are you done?" "My head's killing me. Take me home?" His expression hardened, but before he could move, Sophia clung to his arm. She pouted with practiced coquetry, her voice saccharine. "Why so cold? Don't you remember what you promised me?" Their lingering gaze held the intimacy of shared history. My mind reeled. I didn't want to know what vows bound them. My eyes caught the bareness of Lucas' left hand. Meanwhile, my wedding ring hung hidden beneath my shirt on a silver chain, its presence suddenly humiliating. Grabbing my purse, I bolted outside. 2 male voices called after me, "Ivy. Ivy. Wait!" Ethan caught up as I gulped fresh night air. He lingered at the curb while I hailed a cab, finally asking, "You know that guy?" "Neighbors." His tense shoulders relaxed. "No wonder he offered you a ride. Let me take you back to campus, it's not safe this late." His gentle insistence left no room for refusal. From the taxi's rearview mirror, I watched a black Bentley glide by. Sophia slid effortlessly into the passenger seat. Lucas didn't stop her, as if this betrayal was routine. The night wind bit my bitter smile. Marrying Lucas had been pure accident. Years ago, before West District's renovation, we attended the same middle school. The golden boy everyone adored. Teachers praised him. Girls sighed after him. Everyone knew his childhood companion Sophia, the pampered heiress who trailed him like a possessive shadow. A match made in privileged heaven. My crumbling alleyway home stood across from the Sullivan family's gated community. Even then, I understood we existed in different universes. So I perfected the art of invisible longing. Our worlds colluded one study hall evening when thugs ambushed Lucas. Don't know what possessed me to grab that knife-wielding brute. Buying 2 crucial minutes until security arrived. The kick to my ribs hospitalized me for weeks. Out of guilt or gratitude, Lucas became my bedside tutor. His coaching helped me enter his elite high school. But freshman year, Dad's cancer diagnosis drowned me in hospital shifts and minimum wage jobs. Our brief connection frayed. Though cafeteria whispers still carried updates how Sophia sobbed before college exams, begging Lucas to elope abroad. How he chose family duty over her. The wealthy young woman broke up with him in a fit of anger and went abroad. Because of this, Lucas bombed his college entrance exams and ended up at my decent state university. The real drama happened during graduation when we both got drunk and had that reckless night. I knew he probably mistook me for Sophia. Why else would he hold me so desperately? Murmuring, "Don't go. Please don't go," against my ear? When his grandfather fell critically ill, I discovered old Mr. Sullivan had been secretly covering my medical bills and tuition. To fulfill the dying man's wish, Lucas proposed a contract marriage. For 12 months, we coexisted like polite strangers. After that night, Lucas called asking me to come home. I politely declined. With Sophia back, there was no reason for me to linger. My advisor's translation project gave me perfect excuse to stay on campus. That evening, my best friend Lily blew up my phone with 60-second voice messages. The attached photo showed Lucas walking out of his office building with Sophia, their laughter practically leaping off the screen. I could already hear Lily's furious rants about injustice without hitting play. Sophia had returned with problematic construction blueprints. Everyone knew Lucas would bail her out despite the financial risks. Our hollow marriage had reached its expiration date. That weekend, I returned to the McMansion Lucas bought as our marital home, though he'd barely stayed there between business trips. The congealed dinner on the table mocked my 3-hour wait. His phone picked up on the 7th ring, background noise swallowing his words. "You remember our appointment today, Lucas? Sorry, running late." His slurred words overlapped with Sophia's impatient "hurry up." In the background, of course, he'd prioritize her networking event. As he should. "Don't worry about it. Nothing urgent." I hung up. Sudden calm erasing my rehearsed divorce speech. The signed separation agreement looked surreal under entryway lights. I left his black card on the marble counter. Every cent of medical bills and tuition repaid. Lily's convertible smelled like freedom as we peeled out of the driveway. "Congratulations on your single status, Miss Johnson," she hooped, red nails drumming the steering wheel. "My orders tonight: we drink till sunrise." On her 22nd birthday, Ivy's parents gifted her a private island. She'd been itching to visit. And with summer break in full swing, she dragged me along to enjoy the scenery. What was supposed to be a scenic getaway turned into a wild party when she invited a bunch of attractive guys and girls. Lily pulled me into the whirlwind of their lavish party until I blacked out. I woke up with a pounding headache from the hangover, only to find a handsome stranger sleeping beside me. Before I could figure out how he got there, the door burst open. "Ivy! Ivy! Your ex-husband has gone crazy. You need to hide," Lily shouted in panic. "What? Lucas is tracking you down worldwide. He even called my mom. What if he's here to get revenge?" She frantically tried to hide me while my foggy brain struggled to process the situation. Before we could arrange a boat escape, the thunderous roar of helicopter blades filled the air. The resort's main door exploded inward. Within seconds, Lucas stormed in with military precision, his security team forming a human barricade behind him. His tailored suit was rumpled from travel, eyes bloodshot as they landed on me sitting beside the shirtless guy. His knuckles whitened, jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. Ivy! I never agreed to the divorce. The tension thickened as the blonde guy beside me lazily raked fingers through his bedhead, sizing up Lucas before casually draping an arm around my shoulders. So this is your ex-husband? No wonder you dumped him. I swallowed hard as the room temperature dropped 20 degrees. Before I could shove him away, Lucas moved like lightning. He yanked the guy off the bed by his collar, slamming him onto the marble floor with a sickening crack. Who said you could touch her? He growled, every word dripping with lethal possessiveness. The younger man curled into a defensive ball, no match for Lucas's brutal efficiency. Stop it. Lucas! You'll kill him. I lunged between them, grabbing his raised fist. His furious gaze snapped to me. Defending him now? Is this your type? Some pretty boy toy? I don't even know him. I wouldn't hook up with random guys, no matter how upset I was. My protest hung in the air as Lily coughed awkwardly, suddenly finding the ceiling fascinating. The puzzle pieces clicked into place. Lucas's glacial stare shifted to Lily, who immediately raised her hands in surrender. He must have wandered in drunk. My bad. Gotta go check on, the helicopter fuel. She bolted toward the exit. Wait! Don't leave me here. The blonde scrambled after her like a frightened puppy, their hissed argument carrying down the hallway. Lily! You didn't tell me her ex was Lucas. I almost died back there. Shut up. You're getting me killed. But you told me to. The door slammed shut behind them, leaving me alone with a seething Lucas. He wiped blood from his knuckles with clinical precision, loosening his tie with sharp jerks. His predatory scrutiny made my skin prickle. Breaking and entering isn't a good look for a CEO. Mr. Sullivan. His laugh held zero humor. How many others were there last night? What do you take me for? I retorted coldly. Why do you care so much when we're getting divorced anyway? Lucas's eyes darkened as he suddenly gripped my shoulders, his thumb pressing against my neck with deliberate force. Until I sign those papers, you're still my wife. Who else should I care about? His murderous gaze intensified. Tell me, who left these marks on you? Baffled, I glanced at my phone screen and nearly rolled my eyes. Mosquito bites. This tropical island was swarming with insects. Lucas studied the marks closely before his expression softened slightly. I shoved him away irritably, straightening his rumpled shirt with practiced composure. He ordered, "Change your clothes. We're leaving," his professional demeanor a stark contrast to his earlier intensity. "Where to?" Grandpa Sullivan's condition worsened. "He wants to see you." Relief and bitterness twisted in my chest. Of course. Why else would he come looking for me? The upscale rehabilitation center's VIP suite housed Grandpa Sullivan reading by the window. His face lit up when he saw me, immediately launching into warm conversation. During a lull when Lucas stepped out to take a call, Grandpa leaned closer. "You look terrible. Has that idiot been mistreating you?" "It's not." I hesitated before confessing our impending divorce. The old man sighed deeply. "Only a year married? That useless grandson of mine. It's not his fault. I just think we'll both be happier apart." The door clicked open. Lucas stood frozen in the doorway, storm clouds gathering in his eyes. When we left hours later, Grandpa Sullivan clung to my hand a moment too long. Lucas didn't start the car immediately after we buckled in. After several tense minutes, he finally spoke. "We'll discuss the divorce another time. Grandpa's health." "Why wait?" He didn't object. His gaze turned arctic. "Why the rush to leave me? I want my life back. No more games. This way, Sophia could return openly. Shouldn't that please everyone?" Lucas's jaw worked silently as we drove past palm trees silhouetted against the sunset. Back at campus, Headlines blared, Sullivan Corp CEO breaks down searching for late wife. The accompanying photos showed a disheveled Lucas manically gripping a doctor's lab coat. Raw anguish contorting his features, all because the taxi I'd taken earlier plunged into the river. But later I got into Lily's car and wasn't there at all. Lucas thought I'd died and caused a scene at the hospital. When they couldn't find me, that's when the worldwide manhunt started. Reading the news, I felt puzzled. Why would someone I barely interacted with care so much? My phone rang suddenly. It was Ethan. His cheerful voice mentioned a last-minute translation gig for a corporate project. As a linguistics major who often took freelance jobs, I naturally agreed to the paid work. Little did I know the client company belonged to the Sullivans. In the conference room, Ethan and I sat together reviewing documents. The atmosphere turned glacial the moment Lucas entered. His piercing gaze made me keep my eyes glued to the table. Throughout the tense negotiations, Lucas' stormy expression had Sullivan Enterprises product managers desperately pushing their pricing strategy. While the French firm Rueda refused to budge, Ethan and I maintained professional composure throughout our simultaneous interpreting. During the break, I finally exhaled. Ethan patted my shoulder. That was brutal. You held up great. Just gaining experience. I shrugged. Want to grab lunch? I'll introduce you to Rueda's project manager. Maybe we could end up at the same company later. I hesitated about internship plans when Lucas materialized beside us. Jaw clenched. Come with me. His curt tone lacked basic courtesy. Ethan's eyebrows shot up, but he smoothed it over. Ivy. I had no idea your neighbor was Sullivan Enterprises CEO. My body turned to stone as Lucas scoffed. Neighbor? His voice dripped venom. Quite the coincidence. Ethan nodded. She's my wife. Lucas snapped, yanking me against him. Ethan gaped as I got dragged to the executive office. The door slammed shut behind us. Neighbor? Lucas ripped off his cufflinks. That's how you define me now. My initial guilt vanished remembering him with Sophia at the bar. I squared my shoulders. Makes things simpler since we're divorcing anyway. His bitter laugh filled the room. Rushing to divorce for him? Don't be absurd. Absurd? Your cozy little teamwork during that meeting looked downright couple-wide to everyone. Those were professional interpreting cues. I shot back. You're being completely irrational. Lucas! I glared at Lucas, not wanting to argue further, and reached for the door. He blocked my path, pulling me into a tight embrace. His low voice vibrated against my ear, thick with possessiveness. You're not going to see him. He's just my classmate. Why are you so worked up? Acting like you actually have feelings for me? I struggled in his arms, words tumbling out recklessly. Lucas froze, his grip loosening slightly. I watched his Adam's apple bob as he gritted out. Yes. I do have feelings for you. 4 years now. Been driving myself crazy wanting you. My breath caught. Every syllable made perfect sense. Yet hearing them from Lucas felt utterly surreal. How could this be? When I finally found my voice, it came out shaky. Are you saying this to stop me from filing for divorce? Would I need to? His eyes narrowed dangerously. He had a point. I held no particular value to him. Yet this confession felt too abrupt. My thoughts tangled as I pushed him away, putting distance between us. This doesn't make sense. If you cared, why were you always so distant? Avoiding me? Never coming home? Lucas closed the gap in 2 strides, seizing my wrist. You're really going to claim I'm the one who ran away? Who insisted on that graduate program across the country? Who turned down every dinner invitation? Lived on campus year-round? The accusations hit their mark. I'd maintained that distance, convinced our arranged marriage meant nothing to him. Ivy. He pressed, desperation bleeding into his tone. Why do you think I established the regional office here? Bought this family home? Who exactly was I building this life for? My eyes widened. Mind reeling. These details I'd never dared claim as mine. Since childhood, I'd perfected pushing away anything I desired too much, especially things that could never truly belong to me. Keeping Lucas at arm's length had been survival, not choice. The shrill ring of his phone shattered the tension. Sophia's name flashed on the screen. He declined the call instantly, but it rang again immediately. "You should get that," I muttered, turning toward the door. Lucas yanked me back, holding up his now darkened phone like a white flag. "Running again, Ivy? Fine. If you think I've been holding back," his gaze burned into mine. "Resolve hardening. Starting today, I'll make damn sure you can't doubt how I feel." Before I could react, he'd steered us toward the restaurant district, his hand firm at my waist. Ethan was still waiting by the elevator. Lucas deliberately held my hand, swinging our intertwined fingers conspicuously past him. Noticing my pale complexion, Ethan asked softly, "Ivy, are you okay?" "My wife's perfectly fine with me," Lucas stated coldly, cutting him off mid-concern. Ethan's jaw tightened as he studied me with troubled eyes. I forced an awkward smile, unaccustomed to Lucas' repeated use of wife. Though clearly irritated, Lucas maintained his pleasant facade. "Care to join us for lunch, Ethan?" The challenge hung in the air, but neither of us expected Ethan to actually accept. Sandwiched between them during the meal, my thoughts whirled chaotically. The atmosphere thickened as Ethan casually probed about our relationship timeline, how we met, when we married. Lucas answered each query with practiced ease. "We've known each other since middle school. Childhood sweethearts. Really. Took me years to work up the courage to propose." His thumb brushed my knuckles. My shy little bride preferred keeping our marriage private. "No offense meant, Ethan." Beneath the table, I kicked Lucas' ankle sharply. He continued serving me mushroom risotto without missing a beat, my favorite dish he shouldn't have known about. How did this near stranger memorize my preferences? During the post-meal lull when Lucas went to settle the bill, Ethan gripped my wrist urgently. "Be careful with that guy, Ivy. Remember that girl hanging all over him at the bar last week?" My brief marital fantasy shattered, Sophia's coy smile flashing through my memory. The afternoon negotiations concluded suspiciously smoothly, Lucas conceding points that should have taken weeks to debate. "The manager wants to take you out for celebratory drinks." Ethan smiled, adjusting his tie. "Maybe we could. She's coming home with me." Lucas materialized behind us, his arm possessively circling my waist as colleagues pretended not to notice. Ethan's smile turned brittle. "Drive safe," he said through gritted teeth. "Don't forget my warning." The unspoken accusation lingered that my new husband wasn't to be trusted. As Lucas steered me toward his Porsche, I wondered when exactly his supposed childhood crush had begun and why he'd never mentioned it until our rushed courthouse wedding last Tuesday. On the way to the parking lot, Lucas kept asking me what Ethan had said. I evaded vaguely. He suggested we intern together at Rueda Corporation. He narrowed his eyes skeptically and scoffed. In his dreams, just as Lucas started the engine, his assistant sprinted toward us. "Mr. Sullivan. Wait! There's an issue with Sophia's project. Construction funds got flagged. Debt collectors stormed the site and assaulted her during negotiations." I frowned. This sounded serious. No wonder Sophia had been blowing up his phone earlier. Lucas cut off the assistant impatiently. "Take her to the hospital if she's injured. Her project. Her responsibility." The assistant froze as we drove off. Lucas calmly asked about dinner plans while steering, completely unfazed. I studied him. Had Sophia become irrelevant to him now? He caught my stare and smirked. "Ask whatever's on your mind. Weren't you two involved before?" The car swerved slightly as his grip tightened on the wheel. "Where'd you hear that nonsense? There's never been anyone but you." My ears burned at his bluntness. We clearly needed to untangle some misunderstandings. But our plans derailed again when the hospital called. My father's condition had deteriorated. At the oncology ward, I traced the 4 lines snaking into my father's papery skin. Lucas squeezed my shoulder. I'm here. We'll handle this together. He juggled work commitments but returned nightly, until Thursday, when an anonymous photo arrived, Lucas helping Sophia from a hospital wheelchair. Their proximity exaggerated by the camera angle. I forwarded it to him without comment. Too drained for drama. Past midnight. His leather jacket settled over me as I dozed in the visitor's chair. Shouldn't you be resting? I mumbled. Couldn't let you think I'm playing knight in shining armor for anyone else. He nudged me toward the couch but I pulled him into the empty hallway instead. 3 other executives were there today. He said preemptively. The fluorescent lights etching shadows under his eyes. Whoever sent that photo wants to drive us apart. I'm tracking them down. The heart monitor's steady beep underscored his words. For the first time, his promises felt weightless as the numbers on my father's charts. I understand. I nodded wearily. My father's recent situation had left me completely overwhelmed, and I genuinely had no energy left to deal with anything else. Lucas lowered his gaze to study me. Frustration evident. Ivy, don't you care at all? His tone carried a barely perceptible ache. I raised an eyebrow. Was he trying to provoke jealousy? Just as I considered teasing him, I noticed the wedding ring back on his finger. Hey, didn't you stop wearing your wedding ring before? Who said that? I've always worn it. But last month when I went to Hot Springs with a business partner, my assistant misplaced it after I took it off. I had a new one custom made, just arrived 2 days ago. I nodded in understanding. Lucas gave me a reproachful look. Aren't you the one who stopped wearing yours? Nonsense, I wear it on a chain. The diamond's too ostentatious. I was afraid of losing it. I pulled out the necklace to show him. Amusement broke through Lucas's usual reserve. Ivy, hold me? Though phrased as a request. His arms already encircled me. The warmth of his embrace made me drowsy, and I drifted off only to wake later as someone repositioned me on the sofa. A whispered plea brushed my ear. Ivy, could we not get divorced? Please, just care a little more? For me? My father's worsening brain tumor left no time for delays. Then Lucas secured renowned neurosurgeon Dr. Yang, dramatically improving the surgery's success rate. I'd researched Yang extensively during my earlier desperation, though his retirement had made him unreachable. Lucas must have moved mountains to recruit him. During the surgery, Lucas stayed glued to my side. My trembling fingers clenched as I stared at the operating room's steel doors. He tightened his grip. Ivy, I'm here. Lean on me, that's what husbands are for. His calm voice anchored me. For the first time facing crisis, I wasn't alone. Tears streamed freely. 4 hours later, the surgeon announced success. Overcome. I clung to Lucas, babbling thanks. His palm cradled my head. No need for formalities with your husband. My ears burned as I cleared my throat. During Dad's ICU recovery, Lucas visited whenever possible. That weekend, Lily came specifically to celebrate with me. We went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. While ordering, I thought I spotted a familiar figure, but didn't pay much attention as I was busy chatting with Lily. Lily still believed Lucas had bullied me before, so she kept refilling his wine glass to get back at him. I noticed he'd drunk quite a bit yet remained composed. Wait, wasn't he the guy who got wasted after 1 bottle at our college graduation? After dinner, Lucas went to settle the bill but took unusually long. That's when it hit me, I hadn't been mistaken earlier. Sophia was dining here too. As Lily gossiped animatedly, I responded with distracted smiles, excusing myself to visit the restroom. I unexpectedly came across them arguing around the corner. Lucas. What's your game? You use me and then discard me? Sophia's eyes reddened with unshed tears. Where were you when those loan sharks came after me? I thought you cared when you picked me up from the hospital. But it was just another scheme. Cold detachment colored Lucas's response. Mutual benefit. Sophia. I handled your project. You convinced your uncle to come out of retirement. Fair trade. You know that project was just an excuse. Her voice cracked. I wanted you to treat me like before. Why this coldness? I've told you repeatedly, I'll be your brother figure. Nothing more. His tone hardened. Cross that line. And we're done. For her? Sophia spat bitterly. She's beneath us in every way. What does Ivy have that I don't? The air chilled as Lucas snapped. My heart. You're blind. Lucas! Enraged. Sophia lunged to kiss him. He sidestepped swiftly, leaving her nearly colliding with the wall. Leaning against the corridor. I pieced it together. Sophia's uncle being the key explained how Lucas secured that meeting. So their bar encounter that night had been business negotiations after all. When Lucas spotted me, panic flickered across his face. Within seconds, he closed the distance, gripping my shoulders urgently. Ivy. I didn't touch her, swear. Running into her here was pure coincidence. Check the security footage if you. I believe you. I interrupted, amused by his flustered state. Why so nervous? Terrified you'll file for divorce again. His genuine anxiety made me bite back laughter. The earlier unease dissolving instantly. Sophia glared daggers at me. Don't get cocky. Ivy. Even married to Lucas. It won't last. You're mismatched. I almost smiled. I'd once believed that too. But knowing Lucas's feelings made such barbs meaningless now. We'll see. I retorted sweetly, linking arms with Lucas. His stunned expression melted into a tentative smile as Sophia stormed off, turning to me with desperate hope. Lucas breathed. Does this mean you're not leaving me? I lowered my eyes in embarrassment, trying to pull my hand back. But he tightened his grip. Ivy. Tell me. All right. We won't get divorced. His eyes lit up as he hugged me fiercely, the rare joy on his face resembling someone recovering lost treasure. Lily discovered I'd just had a confrontation and insisted on fighting Sophia herself. I stopped her before she could act. On our way back to the hospital, Lily kept chattering about needing backup next time. At the hospital entrance, Ethan appeared holding a fruit basket. Ivy. Was about to call you. He waved. Heard about your dad's successful surgery. We rode the elevator together. Ethan's gaze traveled from our intertwined hands to lock with Lucas. Lucas smirked, his buoyant mood evident as their silent showdown continued through the ding of arriving floors. In the hospital room, my father immediately engaged Ethan in conversation. They'd bonded during my grad school days when Ethan helped with caregiving. Lucas, the neglected fiancé, quietly poured water for Dad to assert his presence. Ethan casually mentioned my past struggles when Lucas had been absent. Work commitments kept me from establishing the local branch earlier. Lucas countered smoothly, his arm sliding around my waist. But every tomorrow belongs to her now. The verbal jab made Ethan grit his teeth. Lucas maintained a relaxed dominance, as if the competition bored him. Lily nudged me, whispering, "Your man's got steel nerves." Impressive restraint, perhaps, considering he'd waited years before confessing his feelings. When I stepped out to pay the bills, Lucas followed. The alcohol flush colored his cheeks now. Since when were you and Ethan so close? He knew your father before me? At my confirmation, his expression darkened. After the transaction, he abruptly pinned me against the deserted corridor wall, claiming my lips with desperate intensity. Since his confession, He'd become terrifyingly unrestrained, breathless when released. I heard him growl. "Know who sent that text last week? Ethan. Deliberately sabotaging us." The accusation carried a childish pout. I chuckled, understanding Ethan's earlier odd looks. He's just being protective, worried I'm making bad choices. Lucas frowned, his voice laced with irritation. "He's no saint, that's a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. You stay away from him from now on. Understand?" His teeth grazed my earlobe, forcing me to nod hastily. When I tried returning to the hospital room, his grip remained firm. "Come home with me tonight. We need to have a proper talk." The intensity in his dark eyes suggested this wouldn't be casual conversation. "I can't. Dad needs me. The nurses are here. You've lost weight worrying, you need rest." His hand settled possessively on my waist. Against my better judgment, I relented. Back at his penthouse, his unblinking stare made my skin prickle. I gestured toward the shower, edging toward the staircase. His hand shot out, capturing my wrist. "Not so fast." He maneuvered me onto his lap, his woodsy cologne enveloping us. "Why have you been avoiding me?" The directness startled me. Might as well lay cards on the table. "I thought you were into Sophia. That night at the club, you two looked cozy. I was pushing her away when you stormed off." His thumb circled my palm. I should have explained immediately, but the merger consumed me. "Then you kept dodging me." Heart hammering. I blurted. "Why didn't you confess sooner, Lucas? I've liked you for ages." Heat flooded my cheeks. His arms constricted like steel bands. "Because I'm just as terrified of rejection as you are." Wonder lit his features, voice cracking. "We've both been blind." His lips brushed my ear. "Say it again, Ivy." Flames licked my neck. "No. Conversation's over. Release me." "Hardly." His mouth claimed mine with desperate hunger. When we finally broke apart, he demanded hoarsely, "Tell me who." "You." I rasped, tears spilling. "Only ever you." The radiant smile he wore could have powered Manhattan. After my father recovered, Lucas insisted on redoing our rushed marriage of convenience. This time, he personally oversaw every detail, from cathedral bookings to designing my platinum band. The Sullivan heir left nothing to chance when claiming what was his. When I was trying on wedding dresses, Lucas was with me the entire time. As I stepped out in the white gown, his eyes lit up. His Adam's apple bobbed as he suppressed some restless emotion. "You look breathtaking, sweetheart," he murmured, making my cheeks flush. Seeing our reflections in the mirror wearing our wedding attire felt surreal. Lily snapped photos nearby before groaning dramatically. "Could you two stop making us single folks feel so lonely? You're making me want to get married too." I opened my mouth to remind her who'd been preaching about eternal singledom last week when she added with mock regret. "But I can't abandon the whole ocean for one fish. Ugh. Life's so unfair." Rolling my eyes, I turned back to Lucas, who began tucking loose strands of hair behind my ear. "Come home early tonight," he said in that low, suggestive tone that made my pulse quicken. "I'll be waiting." "I'll try." I hedged, knowing Lily had planned a last night of Freedom Girls Night, really just her excuse for us to unwind after weeks of caring for my father. The moment Lucas left for work, Lily practically dragged me to her car. That evening, we arrived at a trendy new cocktail bar. "Ivy, wait till you see the college athletes I invited," Lily squealed. "Total eye candy." Our excitement died when we walked into a sea of women. Even the bartenders and servers were female. A confused Lily cornered the manager, who explained awkwardly, "Mr. Sullivan's orders, no male staff permitted where Mrs. Sullivan socializes." "What about my hot jocks?" Lily wailed. The manager shrugged helplessly before escaping. Your husband's worse than a prison warden. Lily grumbled, downing her martini. Can't let either of us have fun. Huh? Remember what happened last time? I reminded her of Lucas's legendary anger after our tropical island mishap. After sulking through 2 more drinks, Lily called it an early night. I returned home to find Lucas casually working on the sofa. Back so soon? He asked innocently, closing his laptop. Don't play dumb, I retorted, heading for the shower. He intercepted me mid-step, arms wrapping around my waist. Parties are overrated, he murmured against my neck, voice rough with intent. Let me show you real entertainment. His kiss left no room for argument. The night that followed proved thoroughly educational, though I'd never admit it to Lily. Lucas's version of playtime made those college athletes look like amateurs. My name is Lucas Sullivan. After losing my parents young, Grandpa Sullivan raised me. Nobody taught me how to love, but I always knew exactly what I wanted. In middle school, this girl Ivy saved me. She looked delicate but had steel in her spine. I wanted to keep her. When tutoring her, I discovered her adorable habit of chewing pencils while struggling with algebra. I redesigned study methods matching her thought patterns, determined to get her into my high school. Though rumors swirled about Sophia and me, Ivy never seemed bothered. She didn't like me. Started pulling away after we entered high school. So I took action. First, I had teachers seat top female students near her to minimize distractions. Second, I monitored her every move before intentionally following her to college. Third, I arranged for Grandpa Sullivan to discreetly support her education. I intercepted countless love letters, but one slipped through. At university, she grew close to Ethan. They planned to secure grad school spots together. The thought made my blood boil. At graduation dinner, I took drunk Ivy to a hotel room, just meant to create the illusion we'd slept together. But when she kissed me first, everything spiraled out of control. Now my wife in name only barely acknowledges me. Rejects gifts. Declines dates. Files for divorce while still hanging out with Ethan. I hauled her home, ready to lock her up if necessary. Thank God we finally talked. Cleared years of misunderstandings. The tragedy? Wasted time. The miracle? She loves me too. Thanks for reading our story. Your support fuels these sweet tales. Until next time.